Hey guys, Vince, how you doing?
I'm good, Gary. How are you? Happy
Thank you
Monday.
guys. Thank you guys for
Happy Monday.
tuning in.
Okay.
I'm here with my wife Maria, who's a realtor, president of South Queens chapter of NARAP. Vince,
Gary,
friend.
listen, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. You've been out of commission, right?
Yeah. Been out of commission. I got hit with the virus. I was out for a while. I couldn't move, couldn't even think about work or anything else. But my beautiful nurse here, kept feeding me and telling me to get back to work. So I had to get back. But I'm not 100%, but I'm almost there. It's crazy how how this virus just takes over and just consumes your whole body. And I couldn't even walk the dog. So. But now I'm back to walking the dog. So that's how I know.
I'm glad you're doing better, and
Yeah.
I want to applaud Maria's immunity for staying healthy while nursing you back to health.
Nursing me back and staying healthy. She didn't get sick. Not
Thank God.
She tried to do a cough or so. I was like, no. You're good. But she was like, it's my turn. I was like, no, you're good. But thank God we're good.
We're just hoping everybody is healthy out there, safe out there, and we know that there's so many people that are affected by the coronavirus. We all are, and people that have lost family members and friends and neighbors, and our thoughts and prayers are with you guys. What we want to do today, Gary and Maria, is just do a weekly mortgage update. Just let everybody know where we stand, answers any of the questions that come up. And, we wanted to do this with the home team of Freedom Mortgage. We've been working with them for a long time, and they cover such a huge geographic area, right?
Great partners.
They're great partners and great people. So who do we have with us today, Gary?
We're gonna have Juan Santana and Bryan Cohen. They had the home team at Freedom, and to be honest with you, we couldn't even before this. Almost everything we're doing from here to Florida to all up and down the East Coast, it's with our partners, and these guys are integral part of what we do. So without further ado, I just want to throw them up here. Let's get Juan. And
hey guys,
what's going on? And
Hi,
I
Juan.
think I lost Bryan, but Bryan will join us when he gets back up.
So Juan, how are you doing?
Doing fantastic during these times. Thank you very much for asking. I hope everybody's doing great as well. That them and their families are doing well. It's a wonderful time. It's an interesting time, but we still got to move forward, right? We still got to continue to plug away.
Yeah, I think it's important because we got to focus. Sometimes, like after I started getting well, I wanted something else to focus on in business and how to do business and how to help people, how to inform people. And I was like, you know what? Let me reach out to partners like you and Bryan just to give content and update to everybody. I think the most important thing is to be informed, right? We have to be informed, inform our group. And when we know something, we share something, and that's why we're trying to do this at least once a week just to get, content out there, to keep our realtors, our consumers, and our friends up to date with what's going on.
Yeah, things are moving so fast right now.
Yeah, and then so fast that it's not even we still haven't even adjusted to the speed yet, and probably never will. But like Gary said, the best thing to do is try to stay as much as we can with information. As soon as it comes out, we can share it so that way everybody can digest it and prepare accordingly, right? Our lives are moving really fast, so the more information you have, the better the decision you can make. The last thing you want to do is make decisions based on misinformation or old information, right? News is spreading so fast that everything that's yesterday literally is old. So, we're here to make sure that on a weekly basis, at least try to get you moving forward and get you updated.
Thank you. Juan, for those that don't know you, what areas do you cover with your team?
Absolutely. So I'm branch manager here at the home team Freedom Mortgage. I cover the New York area, branches in Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, with myself and Bryan Cohen, also Melville, New York. Freedom Mortgage is a top 5 lender in the country. They operate thousands of branches all over the country, including the East Coast. At the home team, we have specifically over 15 offices. with over 150 sales employees. So we're pretty much one of the largest retail group of Freedom Mortgage. States, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, Florida. So that we directly move forward with. So it's a great opportunity, great time. We have that connect. We're able to talk within colleagues across here to Florida. We're able to see what's going on, inform our realtors, our partners, our friends, colleagues, etc. So today's more, like you said, Vincent and Gary, of who we are and how we can help those that are most in need right now.
Excellent.
So what changes that you see? I know, like Vince said, it changes every week, every time. I know. What do you see is going on with you and your reaching out to your clients, your team? I know you have.
Yeah, sure. So changes coming down. A lot of the most popular things are self-employed, right? If you're currently self-employed in any areas that have been affected by coronavirus or COVID-19, as they say, there's going to be additional requirements, reserve requirements, right? They want to make sure that you have funds to cover the mortgage post-closing, that you're not going to just close right now, go into forbearance period, and then you're going to foreclose because your business is not working, right? It's not operational. In those areas, they're also looking to make sure that if your business is non-essential, you have to also provide proof that how you're working, right? If the government has deemed you non-essential, you're supposed to be closed. They want to see if you're going to move forward. How are you even getting income? So that's very important for our common sense and our referral partners to understand that. With any current clients, any future clients, you want to make sure that try to use as much common sense as possible, right? Everybody knows the barber. Everybody has a barber or a salon, hairstylist, right? But we all know that they're closed. So even if someone is, cutting their own hair or et cetera, that's going to be very difficult to move forward. As just an example of a self-employed person, not the only person, but an example.
So we've got a lot of deals pending with you guys, and things are a little bit frozen here in New York. How are we getting these deals to closing if they're not getting an income currently?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Every case is on a case by case basis, but they are being reviewed, right? They're being reviewed by the underwriters, by the loan officer. Loan officer brings it up and says, "Hey, this is what's going on. How do we proceed?" Whether we're asking for contract extensions or maybe there's a extension to close later on, rate extensions, etc. They're all being handled on a case by case basis. So that's very important. When it comes to other deals that from other banks, anybody needs help with something, we can also offer advice and say, listen, this is going to close, or this, you may have to get an extension for this one, etc. We're just focusing and prioritizing on those that can definitely close now, and we want to get those things done as soon as possible.
And we are seeing those happen. We're seeing, closings that are happening without the agents there, without the buyers there, without the sellers there. Are you guys attending the closings? No, right?
Yeah, no, we thank God our closings have not been affected. We're still funding. We're still closing. There are obviously delays on third-party services, right? Depending on the area where you're closing, title may be delayed, appraisal may be delayed, etc. But there's been a lot of changes, right? Some loans qualify for exterior appraisals, desktop appraisals, which means that you do not have to physically go inside and inspect the properties, depending on the type of deal, etc. So that helps move the file along. Titles, there are some ways the titles are municipalities are still answering, but they're just closed, or maybe they're delayed because of the staff shortages. So that's still also moving forward. So we're working with that, with those, trying to get as long of a lock that we can to help our clients. But we're still closing, we're still funding, and remote notary is approved by the national, as a lender based. They are based on approved on a state by state basis. So depending on the state you're in, we may be able to move forward with the remote notary. We're seeing people close by mail, remotely, parking garages. I mean, anything they can do, slip the documents through the windows. I mean, anything that people can do to get the deal closed, they're getting it done. So a big thank you and a big props to a lot of the referral partners out there, the third-party services that are getting it done. Very important.
Okay. Now, you talked about title and appraisal. As an agent, should I be telling my attorney to start ordering that appraisal right away because it's going to take that delays?
Absolutely. As soon as you get that contract, first of all, you want to be upfront and realistic with anything moving forward, right? If you're in New York, you cannot, there's no way unless even probably cash deal. there's no way in mortgage side that you're going to be able to close something 30 days or less. It's just not realistic, right? Why put it in the contract? Why put the pressure on people? God forbid one person gets ill during that process, and that's it. It's delayed. You can't force anybody. So you definitely want to make sure your timetable is correct, just so everybody's on the same page, understanding what it is. And like you said, Gary, just get whatever needs to get ordered as soon as possible so that when it does come back, you're good to go. And, for the agents, like you said, very good point, right, by title. You want the agents on all your network to understand what the title issues are that they can find online, right? Because if they know that they're going to list something or they're going to buy something that has an estate issue, judgment, or something that is going to require any type of letters or anything from a court side or anything like that, we know a lot of the courts are closed. So some of those cases may not even be heard, or may not even get a letter from a judge. You're not able to close the deal. So you want to make sure you do your due diligence as much as you can up front on those contracts.
Okay.
Maria, you had a few for Juan?
Yes, I had a few questions, Juan, because we work a lot with buyers. So right now I've been getting a lot of calls saying, Maria, what do you think? Is it a good time to buy? Should I just save my money and, buy later? Because they've been watching the news, correct? And they called me the other day saying, oh, the interest rates dropped to 0%. So right now is the time to buy a house. And I'm like, no, let me connect you, right, with with the specialist. He's going to be able to tell you, because a lot of the times what you hear on the news is not really what's going on, right? So I was trying to tell them, yes, it dropped, but for you to buy a house, it's not going to be at 0%. So I wanted to ask you right now, I know interest rates change every day, right? And we can't really say, oh, right now is this, and we don't know. But like around, let's say 3, 4, 4.5, what would you say the interest rate?
No. So today, as of a few hours ago, the rates are on the low threes. For a 30-year fixed purchase for conventional. 20% down, vanilla, 800 FICO, etc. You're talking about a standard file, right? I'm not talking about specifically to anyone, and you can Google the rates. But like you said, Maria, right? 0%. That doesn't mean that's the mortgage rate, right? That's the Fed funds rate. It's totally different than what a mortgage rate entails, what follows a mortgage rate, etc. However, I would tell, even if it's like my own family's calling me. I have people in my family, my friends, my own circle asking me, what should I do? Like you said, should I save? Should I invest in the stock market? Should I invest in real estate? People are dying to know, right, Gary? They want to know the ins and outs. Is this it? Can I buy short sales again? They're dying to know. If I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be here, right? If you knew. But I am telling a lot of my clients and friends and family referral partners, listen, this is the most lowest rates on record, historically low, right? So whether it's whatever program you qualify for, they're going to be at the lowest right now. So why not figure out what you can afford, what you can qualify for? Let's see where we can place you. Let's see where you are in that area, right? Where exactly can you afford? And then look at where obviously your income is not now, right? What type of job are you in? What are you doing? What are you working? If you're on furlough, then there's no business for you to, proceed. You have to wait to see what's going on. But if you want to see exactly what can you qualify for, then we have you ready for when things start moving a lot faster, right? There's some people that have to buy now. We're still getting pre-approvals, not as much as before, but they're still happening. There are some people that just have to move. They're not in a good situation. There are some sellers that still have to sell. It's just that it's not as frequently, and the rates are still really low. There are essential workers. Thank you, those essential workers that are helping us fighting this biological war right now. They still have to buy houses too. Cops, firefighters, nurses, doctors. So they're also still looking, and they might be looking at this going on right now and say, you know what, I don't even want to live here. I want to go to Florida. I want to go somewhere else. After this pandemic. So it's important to really get your options going, Maria. Understand what you qualify for, and then be ready to pull the trigger when we start moving forward the new normal. Very important. And talk to your local real estate agent like yourself. Understand what the market is and if it's even possible to get something now.
Yeah, and also you were talking about requirements. Right now, I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, the credit score requirement changed, right? Now it's not, right?
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, you were able to buy a house with a 501 FICO, FHA 501 FICO specific program. Now the minimum FICO is 640. So that's a big jump. 640 is still great, right? The national average is 698, I believe, or high 6s, low 7s. So you'll still be able to get a wide variety of clients that are still able to buy. If they're not ready yet, there's obviously a lot of resources for them, how to increase their credit score and get that credit help. This is the perfect time that everything is really slowed down to really get your credit to where it needs to be. So, another example of why you should get pre-approved, just to see where you are, because you could have been qualified 3 weeks ago, but now you're not. But you know what? Let's get you in a better position anyway, and then that's it. We'll get, by the time this thing slows down or everything gets back to that again to where we were, then at least we can start moving forward and getting them into their homes. But yeah, 640 is pretty much. We're looking at reserves. They want people to have at least 2 months, 3 months in the bank to purchase. Self-employed 6 months. There's a lot of different factors depending on that, but I'm telling everybody I know, you have to have reserves. Start saving your money if you want to buy a house. Start having, and what that means, to clarify, if your mortgage payment is $2,000 a month, you want to have at least 2 or 3 months of that in the bank post closing. So it's important to people to start spreading the word and start educating, get that going.
What about grants and stuff like that? Grants are still in play, or?
Great question. So we just had I was able to do a virtual seminar a few weeks ago with this community housing initiative. They're located in Westchester. They only do Westchester grants. However, they are still doing grants. The budget was approved for that and it's still available. And they have their housing income limits. Sony May is a state of New York mortgage agency program for New York. They are still doing down payment assistance loans. They're still doing the NRP grants that give you $20,000 to revitalize a home if you qualify and the house qualifies for that area. So there are still programs that people can qualify. They're able to still buy, especially for first-time home buyers. Those are available for.
Okay. Yeah, because I know some of the grant programs, they have to do a day training, right, or something like that, or
some of them require a first-time home buyer online course.
Yeah.
Now with everything going on, they used to mandate in person, but now there's a whole bunch of online courses. Yep, they can take them at their own pace. These agencies recommend that as long as they're HUD approved, but you would have to go to each agency to let you know, they'll be able to accept it. And obviously, when the clients contact us, we can easily send them to the right website so they can find the right answer.
Yeah. We just want to make note that anybody that's watching, if you have a question for Juan and the home team at Freedom Mortgage, just write it in the comments and we'll post it and make sure that they get answered. Juan, we're talking to a lot of our past clients now, and these are homeowners, and there's a lot of information out there on forbearance and recommendations as to what they should do with the equity in their home, what they should do with their pending mortgage payments.
Right.
I want to know from you what you would tell a close friend or family member.
Good. Yeah, great question. I have family right now that are siblings that own houses, and some of them are with Freedom and some of them are with other banks. And they asked me the same question. I said, listen, number one, we want to make sure if you can pay your mortgage, right? The last thing you want to do is you don't want any issues down the road with any clarification, misguidance, etc. Number two, if you really cannot, you're in that situation where you need this, I'm telling them, go online, get the right information right from the bank, get it in writing. If the line is busy, email them through their preferred email method, go to the lender. There should be like a message us or chat box, get everything in writing and get your options, right? Once you know your options, definitely, if it's the best solution for you at the time and the only solution, then understand it. If you don't understand what you're reading, don't sign it, right? Go to your lawyer, go to the lawyer that helped you purchase the home, who's a real estate attorney, and see if they want to read the document first and see if they want to guide you if you don't understand something. That's okay too. I'm also telling them, listen, now's a good time to see if your equity helps, right? A lot of people right now have a lot of equity. In the last 6 months, historically, the highest equity on board in the United States. So across the nation. So why not take advantage now? Low rates, you can pull out cash, and you can probably weather the storm. That's another advice I've been giving a lot of clients and family and friends. Maybe this is the time to do the reset button. Wipe out everything you have and really get into a comfortable low payment. And you never know. and maybe buy that home that you want to get rid of, or you want to leave where you are now and probably move to a better place after all this is said and done. So I'm giving them multiple options. You got to always think about things in a half glass full. Can't be half glass empty. The world is over. None of that stuff. These things happen. The country's been around for over 200 years, almost 300 years. We got to move forward, and we just, like I said, Vincent, I'm telling you, my own family, let's write down all your options and let's list them old school, right? What are the pros? What are the cons? And let's figure out where the most are. Are there more pros than cons? And let's take it from there.
Right. So there's no real cookie cutter answer for all of the homeowners. Hey, you guys all need to forbear your mortgage,
Right.
Go out for home equity loans, every single one of you. No, that doesn't exist. It's all case by case, and it might meet, it might be the right thing to do for one of you guys, but not for everybody, right?
Correct. That's correct. You hear on the media, please don't listen to, those on the people that are giving advice in fields they're not in that field, right? I'm a branch manager. I'm a mortgage loan officer. That's the advice I can give. Please don't listen to people that are not experts in their fields. Go right to the source. That's what I'm telling people. Go online, contact their providers, and like Vincent said, make sure that the situation is unique to you. There could be somebody in your same household. There could be a brother or sister that has totally different situation, totally different outcomes. So please do not compare them. Just do whatever's best for you and your family. I think there's a question here, right, Maria?
Yeah, there's a question. It's mistyped. It says, if a buyer applied for a couple of weeks for unemployment, how does that affect when you apply for a loan?
Great question. So obviously, that will depend on how, is that person going to go back to the same job, right? Are they collecting unemployment because they're furloughed, right? It wasn't because of, obviously I'm assuming that this question is based on the fact that they are furloughed due to the coronavirus, right? We're going to use that premise.
Yeah.
If that was the case and they're furloughed and they're going to go back to work, as long as they can show that proof that they were furloughed, the employer's going to have to provide proof that there was a furlough letter that went to the employee. It was out of the employer's control. It was not due to the employee's performance. Unemployment was collected at the time. Obviously, the banks know that the CARES Act and all these legislation is out there for this, and the employee returns back to work. That will not be considered a negative impact. Right now, in my opinion, they haven't come out with an effective guideline for that from the banks. But in the past, it hasn't been considered a negative impact. I don't see how that can be considered a negative impact for the future, especially if they went back to the same job, same line of work, same pay, etc. Now, if you got laid off and then you collected unemployment for 6 months and then you decided to go and do an entirely different industry 6 months from now, that's a whole different scenario. That's something like, unfortunately, during this pandemic, you lost your job. That company went out of business. You're never going to go back to that company. You have a whole new industry. That's going to be looked at, I believe, totally different then. Will it negatively impact you? No. They're usually going to have to see stability. That if you get that new job in new industry, they're going to have to see stability you on that job. For how long, we don't know yet. There hasn't been guidelines on that yet. But that's a totally different scenario. Hopefully that answers that question.
I think, Vince, we got another one.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How have the requirements for self-employed clients changed? Has the down payment requirements changed?
Yeah, great question. So the requirements that are hard right now that have changed immediately are the reserve requirements. Mm-hmm. So if you're using self-employed income, you must have 12 months reserves. 12 months reserves. And now this is something that Freedom Mortgage has taken on as an overlay. This is something that, I believe across the board, you'll see many banks have the same thing. They're looking for reserve requirements. Now, if you're able to use less of the self-employed income, they will require a little bit less reserves, but pretty much 12 months reserves is what they're looking for. Now, also in general, like I mentioned before, Vincent, if you're not a non-essential business in the state of New York, if you're buying New York, you're non-essential New York, you will not be able to get a loan unless you can prove that you are currently working and currently continuing service. So I'll give you another example. We had a client that were contracted as cleaning workers, right? Self-employed. They were 1099 employees, Schedule C. However, they were contracted to clean the buildings out for the coronavirus. right, to actually clean, disinfect these buildings. So they're still working, even though their individual, company was not designated essential. They were still working, so that did help the case on that scenario. So to answer that question, absolutely.
Okay. You had anything else?
Perfect. No, you covered the grants. That's what every, what a lot of my clients were asking me.
Good. Okay, good.
So, let's wrap it up, man. I just want to know, any let's give a final message for the agents that are listening in. What do you want them to know, Juan?
Yeah, well, listen, we want you to know that, regardless of how much negative information is out in the media, understand that the banks are still lending, they're still funding. There are changes in the loan amount requirements, there are changes, etc. But just reach out to our team, right? Reach out to the loan officer, ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask as many questions as you want, or you can, because the last thing you want to do is waste time with the client, right? Whether it's the seller or the buyer, you want to be as informed. You want to still, if you can still put deals together, please go do so as safe as possible in a safe manner, right? And required by law. But we're here to help you. We're here to give advice. We're still moving and shaking. If you still need advice on helping clients cash out, refinance, if you want to get clients ready for the next wave, for the next 12 months to 18 months, that they know there's going to be more deals, please, we're here for that. We can help them get pre-approved, even yourself, right? If you're an agent and you're self-employed and you feel like you've been waiting for this moment and you've been saving money and this is the time, contact us. We'll get you pre-approved. We'll definitely do it the right way and we'll get you ready. You never know. This may be the time for you to get a bargain as well in the next 12 months.
Right.
So that's the message for you right there.
I believe it's time to buy, right? Because now you have less competition, right?
Right. Across the board, everything, every industry, everything has gone down. People have, minimalized, cut the fat, as they say in the industry, right? Things are cutting. So this may be the time. Get pre-approved, contact us, and that way instead of that unknown in your mind.
Yeah.
It's something positive to look forward to.
I agree.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Maria. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I know we couldn't get Bryan on today. He had technical difficulties, but we'll definitely get him on next time. Like I said, we're just going to keep giving content, keep giving updates of what's going on, answer your questions, and really just so we could always be abreast of what's next and what to be aware of, right? Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely. Have a wonderful time.
Bye.